The very brain you're using to listen to me right now, it's not fixed. Not at all. It's constantly changing, adapting, and literally rewriting its own code. Today, we're diving into neuroplasticity, the incredible science of how your brain physically transforms based on, well, everything you do. So here's the big question. Is your brain set in stone? For the longest time, science had a pretty simple and, frankly, kind of depressing answer to this question. Yeah, pretty much. But that answer, as we're about to find out, was spectacularly wrong. And look, this wasn't some fringe idea. This was the rock-solid scientific belief for decades. The brain you grew up with was basically the brain you were stuck with for the rest of your life, period. Yeah, this whole concept, the unchanging brain, pretty much defined how we thought about everything, from learning new things to recovering from an injury. But then a whole wave of new research started to chip away at this myth until it just crumbled. Think about it like a marble statue, right? Once it's carved, that's it. Its shape is set, any damage is permanent, and you're definitely not adding any new features. For a very long time, that's exactly how science saw the adult brain. So, if the brain isn't a statue, then what is it? Well, the answer lies in this absolutely revolutionary idea that changed everything we thought we knew. And that idea is neuroplasticity. Okay, so what does that big word actually mean? Simply put, it's your brain's amazing ability to adapt and change. It's how we learn, how we form memories. It's even how we can recover from serious injuries. You could almost call it the brain's built-in superpower for change. So let's ditch that statue analogy for good. A much better way to picture your brain is as a huge, bustling city. New roads are constantly being built. Some get wider, others get shut down based on traffic. New buildings go up, old ones get repurposed. It's a living, breathing, constantly evolving system. Okay, so how does this city planning actually work inside our heads? It turns out this whole rewiring process happens in two really fundamental ways. So on one hand, you have what's called structural plasticity. Think of this like the city's construction crew, physically building new roads and bridges. Your brain is literally making new connections between neurons. But then you also have functional plasticity. This is more like the city's traffic control, rerouting all the cars when there's a roadblock. If one part of the brain gets damaged, sometimes another part can learn to take over its job. And the best part? This isn't just some abstract theory. We can actually see and measure these changes happening in real time. So let's take a quick tour through some of the most amazing real-world examples. Our first stop is a really famous study that involves a very specific group of people, London's taxi drivers. Now, to get a license there, you have to memorize this insane labyrinth of 25,000 streets, a test that's famously called the knowledge. So, scientists scanned their brains, and what they found was just remarkable. All of that intense memory training had physically changed the structure of their brains. The part of their brain that handles navigation, the hippocampus, was significantly larger than in other people. It was some of the first hard evidence of structural plasticity in humans. Just incredible. Okay, how about this one? A huge number of people who have lost a limb, up to 80% of them, report feeling sensations, even pain, in the limb that isn't there anymore. How is that even possible? Well, you guessed it, the answer is neuroplasticity. See, your brain has this detailed map of your entire body. When a limb is gone, that part of the map doesn't just go dark. Instead, the neighboring areas on the map, say the part that represents your face, can actually start to creep in and take over that unused territory. So a touch on the cheek might actually feel like a touch on the missing hand. It's a really powerful and sometimes bizarre example of the brain just rewiring itself on the fly. But this ability to remap is also a massive source of hope. When a stroke damages part of the brain, neuroplasticity is the engine of recovery. Healthy parts of the brain can learn to take over the jobs of the injured areas, allowing patients to regain things they've lost, like speech or the ability to move. And you don't need some huge, traumatic event to see this in action. It's happening all the time, every single day. Things like learning to play an instrument, speaking a second language, getting regular exercise, even just meditating, all of these things have been shown to cause measurable changes in your brain. So what is the big takeaway here? What does this all mean? It's that neuroplasticity isn't just something that happens to you. It's a process you can actually steer. In a very, very real way, you are the architect of your own brain. Every single new thing you learn, every habit you form, every experience you have, it's all laying down new pathways in your brain and strengthening others.
That old idea of a hardwired brain is completely out the window. What we have instead is this much more exciting reality, a brain that is just buzzing with potential for change. And that means you have this incredible toolkit right at your fingertips. Challenging your brain by learning something new, getting consistent exercise, practicing mindfulness. These aren't just good habits, they are direct, hands-on ways to guide the constant reorganization that's happening inside your own head. The science of neuroplasticity tells us that change isn't just possible, it's the fundamental nature of your brain. And that leaves us with a really profound and, honestly, an incredibly empowering question to think about.